And we start with that exclusive story. This week marked 3 years since the death of I Anele Tembe, whose body landed on the ground from the 10th floor of a Cape Town hotel in April 2021. Now, this in the company of her fiancé, rapper Kiernan AKA Forbes. But it's been a painstaking wait for her family, wanting answers about what really happened to their daughter. Well, the start of the inquest into her death has been dragging on since last year. And in June 2022, the National Prosecuting Authority decided not to prosecute anyone. Instead, after Forbes' murder in 2023, a decision was taken to refer Anele's death to the Inquest Court. So since the first sitting was due to start in October last year, well, the Tembes have been left frustrated, they say, over multiple delays. So in the first ever exclusive interview, Anele's father, Moses Tembe, sits down with me, and this is what he had to say. It was a horror story. The body of a 22-year-old found on the ground from the 10th floor of a luxury Cape Town hotel. Well, that girl was I Anele Tembe, known to be the fiancé of late rapper Kiernan AKA Forbes. In what remains to be a tragedy with many lingering unanswered questions, 3 years after the incident, her father Moses Tembe speaks for the very first time in this exclusive interview and begins by describing the wounds of his grieving family.
For the family, we're still feeling so much pain. We're still feeling so much anguish out of the passing on of our daughter, Anele. In fact, I could tell you that our hearts remain so shattered, shattered into pieces by the passing on of Anele. But having said that, by grace of God, our hearts are still beating.
We are having this conversation with you here today at the school that Anele attended. And we walk in here and find that there is a library that has been named after Anele.
Correct, yeah.
Not much has been said about your daughter and who she was. Who was this young girl?
Anele was quite a lively a child who made friends. I must say, she was always, positively disposed to good environments around her. She loved reading, she loved sport, she knew what she wanted in life. So as a family, when we reflected on what we could do to keep her legacy and spirit alive, because she loved reading, and library was always a happy space for her. We could not find a project more appropriate than doing this library. We thought that it's not only keeping her legacy and name alive, but it's a project that is adding value to other kids.
So this is the first time that you speak on the passing of your daughter. Take me back to the day when you found out that she had passed away.
My family came in and I was preparing to go to church that day, and unexpectedly my brothers came to deliver the very sad news. It was quite painful. In fact, I could use a metaphoric word where I was quite gutted you know, that sinking feeling, you know, where you feel like there is someone who is, you know, taking the guts out of your stomach. It was quite painful. What made it worse, really, is to hear the news as to what happened. And I was in Durban as we live here, so I could not be there, obviously. And when we switched on the TV, because they were telling us that the news are actually running on you know, on TV, to see your daughter lying there covered in foil, it's quite a traumatic experience, you know. And at the time, we did not have any details other than that she's fallen. So one was beginning to think who was there at the time she fell, and we're told that she, you know, was alive for something like 20 minutes. I began to say, oh, who was there? Who saw her? So there were many questions which added more pain to the whole experience. So it was quite painful, yeah.
Well, more so because her father says Anele was a lover of life.
So, Anele loved her life, how much she respected herself. I knew, you know, her plans, how much, you know, she was looking forward to the next chapter of her life. I also knew that the way she loved herself, she would not strip naked and throw herself, you know, down. So at the time we hadn't received much background, but from what we could see, from what we've heard as facts, that she was actually recognized by or found out by some other lady in the street, and so on and on, you know, unattended to. You know, we you know, one got a sense that there could be some foul play, but one was not there. This matter is a subject of the inquest, and I truly believe that the process must be respected. It would be amiss of me to get into the details of the inquest. In fact, it would be out of order. So I really think that we need to give space to the process.
Then the National Prosecuting Authority decided not to prosecute anyone in this matter. And I know that you were, as a family, were not happy with that, because you wanted that decision to be reviewed. Why?
As you know, the police had been in touch with us all the way. They cooperated with the family. They kept us informed of all the developments. So given what we've had at the time, the information which was at our disposal, there was an expectation that there will be a prosecution. But obviously, we were not judging anyone at the time. We looked forward to to that prosecution, which would have led to a closure.
You said you were looking forward to a prosecution.
Correct.
Are you talking about the prosecution of the person who was there when this took place?
Obviously, at the room where Anele is alleged to have fallen, he was with someone, you know. So the police never told us who was going to be prosecuted. The police advised us that they were, you know, had a strong case and they will prosecute.
I almost have a sense that you don't want to say his name.
Yeah, she was in the company of Kiernan, very true, but that it follows that Kiernan was going to be prosecuted and that Kiernan was guilty of anything. No one knows about that. You know, to that point, it has always been critical for the family to have Kiernan on the box, whether as a witness or as an accused. For us, a proper closure required that the last person who was with our daughter be present.
The Tembes say it was very difficult to stay neutral in the matter, but the family says it did.
As you would remember, Kiernan was not just a boyfriend. Kiernan was a fiancé, and Kiernan had approached us. He wanted to marry our daughter. We had accepted him as a son too. And
you liked him?
Definitely. I liked Kiernan. And believe me, I'm the first person to tell you that Kiernan never put his foot wrong in front of me. He never said anything amiss. I liked him a lot. I met him on stage. He was performing with the orchestra. I knew nothing about Kiernan. I'm not into this type of music. But I said, "Jewess, if he could perform with the orchestra, it must be something." And to that point, whatever that people were saying later about him, I gave him the benefit of doubt right up to the last day. So I loved Kiernan so much. And to that point, for us as a family, me in particular, you know, as some kind of head of that family, I kept on saying to my children, to my parents, and everyone who was affected by this, it's important to treat Kiernan like our own child, so that we can actually be objective as this process starts. So that was our attitude, and that continues to be our attitude to this day. I object to anyone who suggests that Kiernan killed our daughter. I'm saying we need to lead evidence, and the evidence will tell us exactly what happened.
Well, I recall after Kiernan AKA Forbes had been killed, there was a lot of wild speculation about who may be behind his murder. Your name had also been thrown around. I'm sure you'd seen that on social media. Would you want to respond to that at all?
It is unfortunate, and obviously it is a painful experience when you hear people making those insinuations, and making those allegations. As I said to you, these type of allegations are in the social media, and people who make those allegations are faceless people. As you know, no one comes forward and say, look, I've got this evidence. In fact, I'm basing my allegation on these facts. Police, no doubt about it, we all have been reading about this case. Police, I think, they've investigated the matter. They've never approached me, and I'm not surprised. They've never approached me. But I have no doubt that they've investigated this matter quite thoroughly, and people who had any evidence, shred of evidence around what happened there, I'm sure they've been interviewed by the police. So really, I have been saying to our family, we can choose to comment on what faceless people are saying, or keep trusting the legal system of this country, that they will come to the conclusion that will give the Forbes family a closure. But let me also touch on this matter at a high level. No doubt you are aware that this is a matter which is sub judice, and no one wants to say anything that influences the process in any fashion. And I'm certainly not here to defend myself or the name of our family. I can tell you now that anyone who knows our family very well, who knows me very, very well, is not among the faceless people who are making those insinuations. I think at the right time as well, once that legal process has been completed, as a country, we need to reflect on the rationale behind killing someone because he has wronged you. You know, I did indicate to you that that inquest and closure for the family will never be complete without Kiernan. If there is one family that wanted Kiernan alive, it's our family. To see him there with his own mouth telling us exactly what happened on that fateful day.
Then a decision was taken by authorities to refer Anele's death to the Inquest Court. A date for the first sitting was set for the 16th of October 2023, but there have been multiple delays since last year. Moses Tembe lambastes individuals in the NPA in the Western Cape for what is referred to as shoddy work.
I would even dare say, this blame squarely belongs to those individuals in Cape Town. You know, I think it's high time we do not blanket issues and say NPA is this, NPA is that. We need to be focusing on the individuals responsible. Those individuals have not done their job well.
What were some of the reasons that you were given for this delay? Why are you placing blame on those individuals? What are some of
our lawyer
reasons for this delay?
Our lawyer hasn't tabulated all the reasons. In fact, we attended the last session. All we saw were lawyers representing the Forbes family who were objecting to this, objecting to that, this issue, that other issue. I think they were doing that within their rights. We know that there are a number of documents which were meant to be certified and other issues which were meant to be done between October and now. That delay between October and now is totally unacceptable.
When SABC contacted the NPA in the Western Cape about the accusations, it said the Director of Public Prosecutions in the Western Cape made a decision not to prosecute in 2022, and the Tembe family then wanted to make representations to the Office of the National Director of Public Prosecutions. It says they did not do so, and as a result of the family wanting to make representations, they say the inquest could not go ahead. But when the SABC asked for a Zoom interview to ventilate the above, already the NPA in the Western Cape had indicated in that response that it would not comment any further on this matter. When SABC News asked police about allegations of some witness statements not being commissioned, this is the response we received from the Western Cape Police, that the matter is before the courts and they won't be commenting. While the Tembes wait for the long-awaited inquest to begin,
whilst we miss her, whilst we are in pain, but we are not grieving like people who have no hope. We know that at some point when that trumpet sounds, we shall meet in heaven.
Chriselda Lewis, SABC News in Durban.
All right, that exclusive interview with Moses Tembe, the father of the late I Anele Tembe. You'd recall that story going viral, certainly, her body being found from the 10th floor of a luxury hotel. And of course, the inquest, which was meant to delve into what really happened inside that hotel room, which she had shared with the now late rapper, aka Kiernan Forbes, you would recall, is a subject of an inquest. That inquest is due to begin. The Tembes are still waiting for a date when it will commence. But of course, they've lamented the fact that there have been multiple delays in this particular matter. They want to know what happened on that day. They say basically they will accept whatever outcome is of that inquest.